as we are keeping our MC duties to a minimum tonight, let's begin with our first monologue, performed by Christopher Zaczek. This is from Henry V, Act 4, Scene 3. This scene takes place just before the Battle of Agincourt, where the French outnumber the English 5-1. Henry has heard his cousin Westmoreland saying that they need more men, particularly the noblemen in England who have refused to fight for their cause. He must now rally his troops to prepare for the battle.
What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. Rather, proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he that hath no stomach for this affair, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not want that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispin. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand at tiptoe when the day is named and rouse him at the name of Crispin. He that lives this day will yearly, on the vigil, feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispin's. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford, Exeter, Warwick, Talbot, Salisbury, Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, now abed, shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day! Woo!
Our next monologue is performed by Dominic Schiferl. It is from the Tempest, Act 2, Scene 2. Trinculo, jester to the King of Naples, having survived a sudden storm and shipwreck, finds himself lost and alone on a mysterious island. Looking for shelter as the storm threatens to return, Trinculo comes upon the man-like creature, Caliban, who is hiding under a piece of clothing, seemingly dead.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear any weather at all, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard ready to share his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A manner of fish. Dead or alive? A fish. Ooh, he smells like a fish. A very ancient fish-like smell. A kind of Not the newest Paul John. Strange fish. Right in England now as I once was, and I had this fish painted. Not a holiday fool there but would give me a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. When they would not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legged like a man, and fins like arms. What more my troth? This is no fish, but an islander that have suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There is no shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud until the dregs of the storm be past.
His subjects and nobles have turned against him and have joined Henry Bolingbroke, who has returned from banishment. He realizes that his reign is over and that he is likely to be dethroned and put to death.
Woo! No matter where, of comforts no man speak. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors and talk of wills. And yet not so. For what can we bequeath save our deposed bodies to the ground? Our lands, our lives, and all are Bolingbroke's. And nothing can we call our own but death. And that small model of barren earth that serves as paste and cover to our bones. For God's sake, let us sit upon this ground and tell sad stories of death of kings, how some have been deposed, some slain in war, some haunted by the ghost that they have deposed, some poisoned by their wives, some sleeping, killed, all murdered, for within the hollow crown that rounds the mortal temples of a king keeps death his court. And there the antic sits, scoffing his state and grading at his pomp, allowing him a breath, a little scene to monarchize, be feared and kill with looks, infusing him with self and vain conceit, as if this flesh which walls about our life were brass impregnable. And humour thus comes at the last, and with a little pin bores through his castle wall, and farewell, king! Cover your heads, and mock not flesh and blood with solemn reverence. Throw away respect, tradition, form, and ceremonious duty, for you have but mistook me all this while. I live with bread like you. Feel want, taste grief, need friends. Subjective thus, how can you say to me, I am a king? Discharge my followers, let them hence away, from Richard's night to Bolingbroke's fair day.
Next is Za'chary Westbrook with a monologue from Julius Caesar, Act 3, Scene 1. Caesar is dead. Mark Antony, having negotiated for permission to secure Caesar's proper burial, is left for a moment alone with his fallen friend.
piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hands that shed this costly blood! Over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which, like dumb mouths, do ope their ruby lips and beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cover all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dread objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile to see their infants quartered with the hands of war. Oh, pity choked with custom of fell deeds! And Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge with Ate by his side, come hot from hell, shall in these confines, with a monarch's voice, cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war, that this deed shall smell above the earth with carrion men groaning for burial.
Stephen Glaspie with a monologue from Much Ado About Nothing, Act 2, Scene 3. Benedick is grappling with the idea that he is falling in love with the woman he hates. Beatrice.
This can be no trick. The counsel were sadly poor. We have the proof of it from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me? Why, it must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say I will proudly bear myself if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, she'd rather die than show any sign of affection. I do not wish to be married. I should not seem so proud. They say the lady is fair. 'Tis the truth, I can bear them witness, and virtuous 'tis, so I cannot reprove it, and wise, but for loving me, by my troth, it is no addition to her wit, nor no great argument of her folly, that I shall be madly in love with her. Oh, I may bear some odd quirks and whips of remnants on me, because I have railed so long against marriage. But doth not the appetite alter? A man loves the meat of his youth he cannot endure in his age. When I said I shall die of bachelor, I did not think I should live till I were married. Oh, here comes Beatrice. By this day she is a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
Next we have Michael Downey performing a monologue from King Lear, Act 1, Scene 2. Edmund is the illegitimate or bastard son of Gloucester. In this monologue, he reflects on his status and resolves to plot against his father and his legitimate half-brother, Edgar.
Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I'm some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? And my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardy, base? Who, in the lusty stealth of nature, take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a stale, tired bed go to the creating a whole tribe of fops got tween sleep and awake? Well, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, God, stand up for bastards!
Our last monologue for the first half of this program is performed by Lindsey Higgins from Julius Caesar, Act 3, Scene 2. After conspiring against and brutally murdering Caesar, Brutus ascends to the pulpit to deliver an earnest, honest, and simple speech to the citizens of Rome. She demands, challenges, that no one loved Caesar more than she did, and that her actions were for the betterment of Rome. Audience participation is encouraged.
If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend to Caesar, to him I say that Brutus' love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living to die all slaves? Or that Caesar were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was valiant, I honored him. As he was fortunate, I rejoiced in it. And as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is death for his honor, joy for his fortune, tears for his love. Who is here so base as would not be a bondman? If any, speak, for he have I offended. Who is here so rude as would not be a Roman? If any speak, for he have I offended. Who is here so vile as would not love his country? If any speak, for he have I offended. I pause for your reply. Then none have I offended. The choice of Caesar's death is in the Capitol. And with this I depart, that as I slew my best lover for the good of Rome, I have the same dagger for myself when it shall please my country to need it.
This concludes the first half of our Monologues in Music program. We'll take a 10 to 15 minute break before our second half. Please take this time to purchase
We've got a real treat
refreshments.
for you now as our first item. Lauren Ash Morgan will be performing Sonnet 29 to original music on the Korean Kaegam. So please give her a big hand.
Woo!
Yeah!
When in disgrace, with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone weep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contentedly least. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day, rising from solid earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered, such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state. With kings.
moments for Gen Y to set up. She'll be performing a couple of sonnets to original music, just a few moments, so feel free to maybe grab another drink responsibly, and we'll play a little bit more music, and back maybe in 5 or 6 minutes. Thank you.
And we have more raffle tickets.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to break the fourth wall and talk to you guys.
Oh my God.
Because I want to talk about the sonnets I chose. The first one is number 116. I actually did this in April, if you guys were here for that one, so you get to hear it reprised today. It's about love. But not, well, I mean, you can interpret these sonnets a million different ways. Obviously, poetry is meant to be interpreted for your personal, I don't know, whatever you're going through. So I find this particular sonnet to be more about kind of like that eternal love, the love that is like life, that's always flowing, that never really disappears. And that's kind of what he alludes to in this sonnet. He talks about the eternalness of this love. So, number 116. Oh. Just remember how it goes. Let me not to the marriage of true minds and men in tenements. Oh, love is not love that alters when it alteration finds. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed love that looks on Tempest and is never, 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 never shaken. It is the star to every wandering one whose worth's unknown or his height be taken. Love's not time's fool. The rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass gone. Love alters not with his brief vows and weeks, but bears it out to the edge of doom. If this be error, then upon me prove I never writ, nor no man ever So, this is number 119, close together in the... I read a lot of sonnets. I don't know if you guys have read all the sonnets. I haven't read all of them, probably like 60%. So I was really choosy. So I really like these two. And this next one, it's kind of, I don't know, it's uplifting. It's kind of like talks about no matter how rough things get, no matter how depressed you might be, even when things seem that they're beyond saving, that there's actually, that is exactly when things are propelled into the next level. And that's when you actually discover who you really are and what you're capable of. I think that's how I interpreted this this sonnet, so we'll see what you think.
Kahlid Tapia with a monologue from Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 7. Having plotted with his wife to assassinate the king, Macbeth begins to have doubts. Fear of the consequences and pangs of conscience eat at him, while the unsuspecting king revels in the next room with the rest of Macbeth's guests.
If it were done, when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with this Circe's success, that but this blow might be the be-all and end-all here, but here, upon this bank and shoal of time will jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door and not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan has borne his faculties so meek,
had been so clear in his great office that he would plead like angels, trumpet-tongued, against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast of heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye. That tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent. Only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.
Next is Lindsey Higgins performing Sonnet 18, a piece for anyone who has been in love.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? And what more lovely and more temperate? Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease has all too short a date. Sometimes too hot, the eye of summer shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. Every fair from fair declines by chance, for nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of the fair thou owest, nor shall death braggest thou wanderest in his shade, for in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, and eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Next is Michael Downey with a monologue from Love's Labour's Lost, Act 1, Scene 2. Don Adriano de Armado is a comically pedantic and pompous Spanish soldier who is visiting the court of the King of Navarre. Here he has just met the country wench, Jaquenetta, for the first time, and has promptly fallen in love with her.
I will hereupon confess I am in love. And as it is base for a soldier to love, so am I in love with a base wench. If drawing my sword against the humour of affection would deliver me from the reprobate thought of it, I would take Desire prisoner and ransom him to any French courtier for a new devised courtesy. I think scorn to sigh. Methinks I should outswear Cupid. I do affect the very ground which is base, where her shoe, which is baser, guided by her foot, which is basest, doth tread. I shall be forsworn, which is a great argument of falsehood, if I love. And how can there be true love which is falsely attempted? Love is a familiar, love is a devil. There is no evil angel but love. Yet was Samson so tempted, and he had an excellent strength. Yet was Solomon so seduced, and he had a very good wit. Cupid's butt shaft is too hard for Hercules' club, and therefore too much odds for a Spaniard's rapier. The first and second cause will not serve my turn. Basardo he respects not, the duello he regards not. His disgrace is to be called boy, but his glory is to subdue men. A Jew valor, rust, rapier. Be still, drum, for your manager is in love. Yea, he loveth. Assist me, some extemporal god of rhyme, for I am sure I shall turn sonnet. Devise wit, write pen, for I am for whole volumes in folio.
Next is Charles Jeong with a monologue from The Merchant of Venice, Act 1, Scene 3. Shylock is a Jewish moneylender in Venice. One day he is visited by Antonio, the rich Venetian merchant, who requests to borrow a good sum of money from him.
Signor Antonio, many a time and oft in the Rialto, you have rated me about my monies and my usances, but still have I borne it with a patient shrug. For sufferance is the badge of all that tried. You call me misbeliever, cutthroat dog, and spat upon my Jewish gravity, and all for the use of that which is mine own. Well, it now appears you need my help. Go to, then you come to me and you say, Shylock, we would have monies. You say so. You that did voyagerium upon my beard and foot me as you spurred a stranger cur over your threshold. Monies is your suit. What shall I say to you? Should I not say, has a dog money? Is it possible a cur can lend 3,000 ducats? Or shall I bend low and with bated breath and whispering humbleness say this, fair sir, you spat on me on Wednesday last, you spurned me such a day, another time you called me dog, and for these courtesies I'll lend you thus much money. Why look how you storm? I will be friends with you and have your love. Forget the stains you have shamed me with. Supply your present wants, and take not a drop of interest for my monies. And you will not hear me. This is kind I offer. This kindness will I show. Go with me to a notary, and seal me there your single bond, and in a merry sport, if you repay me not on such a day, at such a place, such sum or sums as are expressed in the condition, let the forfeit be nominated for an equal pound of your fair flesh. To cut off and taken. In what part of your body pleases me? Oh, Father Abraham, what these Christians are, whose own heart dealings teaches them suspect the thoughts of others. I pray you, tell me this. If he should break his day, what should I gain? Huh? By the exaction of the forfeiture, a pound of men's flesh taken from a man is not so estimable, profitable neither, as flesh of muttons, beeves, or goats. I say to buy his favor, I extend this friendship. If he should take it, so. If not, adieu. And for my love, I pray you, wrong me not.
Thank you, Charles. Okay, our last monologue this evening is performed by Lauren Ash Morgan from Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1. Lady Macbeth, racked by guilt, hallucinates while walking in her sleep, obsessively trying to wash her hands of the blood they have spilt. Her mind relives the events that have occurred, her goading of her husband to murder King Duncan and take the crown for himself, the horrific night of the murder and her husband's increasing descent into paranoia and the murder of the innocent.
Yet here's a spot. Out. Damned spot. Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier in a field. What need we fear who knows it when none can call our power to account? Yet, who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with the starting. Here's the smell of the blood. Still! All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Beg was buried. He cannot come out on his grave. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone.
Performers up for one last bow.
Shakespeare Company's Monologues and Music program. Thank you all for spending the evening with us. Please stick around for some music from Paul Silvestri, Craig and Kira, and the Jenny Way Band. Before we switch gears to our post-show entertainment, I'd like to announce that this is the last performance of our wonderful artistic director, Lindsey Higgins. So much for this company and for the theater and film communities in Seoul during her 4 years as our artistic director. Her passion and what am I trying to say? Her passion and ambition are inspiring, and we're sure that she's going to be very successful in her graduate studies.
Yes.